Our story. Part 3, where God guides, God provides. Once we knew God was calling us to Salt Lake City, we came home excited. We began telling our family and friends what we believed the Lord was doing. We told them we were moving to Salt Lake City to plant a church. My parents were excited for us. They could see that God was doing something, but at the same time, they were sad. We were not just moving ourselves to Salt Lake City, we were taking their granddaughters with us. Not everyone knew what to do with that. To some, it probably sounded like we were running off on some naive adventure. But to us, it did not feel naive at all. It felt like obedience. It felt like God had spoken. And now we were watching to see what he would do. There was just one problem. Actually, there were several. We had no money waiting for us in Salt Lake. I had no job there, and not even the promise of one. We did not know anyone in the city. I also had to walk away from the work that had been supporting our family. Our only real source of money would be whatever our house in Sacramento sold for. So we put the house on the market. The real estate market was difficult at that time, and our agent told us it would probably take a while to sell. The house sold in a week. That was one of the first signs that God was already ahead of us. During that season, I could not wait to talk to Pastor Chuck Smith. He was the pastor of Calvary Chapel, Costa Mesa, and the one God had used in such a powerful way in the Calvary Chapel movement. When Chuck heard that we were moving to Salt Lake City, he told me he had been praying for us. Then he said something I have never forgotten. He said, "It will be about as easy to start a church in Salt Lake City as it would be in Bangkok, Thailand." That was not exactly the encouragement I was hoping for. I must have looked a little discouraged, because then Chuck said, "But the Lord has a word for you." He opened his Bible to Acts 18 to 9:10, where the Lord spoke to Paul and said, "Do not be afraid, but speak, and do not keep silent, for I am with you, and no one will attack you to hurt you, for I have many people in this city." That word went deep into my heart. God was reminding us that if he was calling us, he would also be with us. We had no idea what was ahead, but we knew this much. God had many people in that city. All through our Christian life, Alison and I had held on to a simple saying, "Where God guides, God provides." We had seen him do it before, and now we were about to see him do it again. When we finally moved to Salt Lake City, we must have looked like the Beverly Hillbillies. We had our things loaded up, our young family packed in, and off we went into a city where we had no job, no church, no real plan, and no friends waiting for us. All we knew was that God had called us. We found a house and began settling in. Then came the snow. We had not really lived in snow before, and that winter Salt Lake had one of the biggest snowstorms they had seen in decades. There was so much snow piled up in our front yard that it felt like another world to us. The neighbors seemed to see it as one huge annoyance. We saw it as an adventure. We made snow forts, played in the snow, and tried to enjoy this strange new place God had brought us to. But the truth was, we still did not know anybody. So I began doing the only thing I knew to do. I talked to anyone who would listen about Jesus. Salt Lake City was a very different kind of town. At that time, it felt deeply Mormon. Nearly everyone we met had some connection to the LDS Church, and I was learning quickly that this was not going to be like planting a church in California. I also began to hear stories about other Calvary Chapel attempts in the area. Some had started, but for different reasons, they had not lasted. Eventually, I heard about a Bible study that was still meeting. It was made up of some of the people who had been part of a Calvary Chapel that had recently closed. So I called and talked with them. We arranged for me to come and meet the group and share about the possibility of starting a new church. When I pulled up to the house, I heard someone yell loudly from inside, "Hide the beer. The pastor's here." I smiled when I heard it. Somehow I knew we were going to be just fine.